Good evening, everyone. Thursday night here on the channel. That means Redline Racing, Cory Harts Media Premier Series racing action on the west coast of the United States tonight for a stop at the Auto Club Speedway in Fontana. Big turnout for tonight's race. Got 24 cars already listed on the scoring there, 23 times on the board in practice, and I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing some great green flag racing, some multi-groove racing, maybe even some pit strategy here. After our last couple of races have had a lot of yellow flags slow down the pace of the event, hoping we turn the corner here during our stop in Hollywood, Southern California's Auto Club Speedway. Looking at the leaderboard right now, you see Michael Rizzero sitting at the top there, one of the only drivers to crack into the 40s there. He is there with a 40.89, a good run for him, as the 83 of Wade Poole makes his way off pit road. He is second right now in the scoring, not too far behind Rizzero, only about a tenth or so back. Jacob Hefner, familiar face here, down to fourth spot as Josh Kosick leaps up to the top of the leaderboard. He'll go ahead and hit a 40 of his own there, so that one is looking very quick around this track right now. He's Tokyo drifting, and I know we're in Hollywood. We don't need to put on the movie theatrics here. The one sitting at the top of the board with a 40.80, so seeing the times begin to come down here in the final 2 minutes of practice. Jacob Hefner drifting it through the corner. I guess everyone's doing a bit of drifting here and getting into the wall as well. Let's see if we can find some drivers who are getting their last few laps in and kind of just getting some insights here. Luke Peters in the 50. He's currently 7th right now in the scoring, a 41.11 for him. But what's interesting about Michael Rizzero there, he was your pole sitter here last time we raced at this track during Season 5, a race ultimately won by Brody Gardner, one of his 7 wins last season. He's on a part-time campaign with us this season, so we'll see if he'll come back to defend some of those 7 races so far. Jordan Coons already going to victory lane back at Atlanta earlier this month. So we're watching these qualifying times. You see them there on the side of your screen in practice. Will they mirror that pace when we head into the qualifying? We'll be certainly watching that here. Further down the standings, you see Alexander Hayter there in the 6th position. Good run for him back at Daytona. Aaron Plemons, he really went through the ringer there back at Atlanta Motor Speedway. He's able to now get that top 10, move past Atlanta, and turns attention here to Auto Club. Right now, sitting 7th in practice, Malachi Drake, who had a fantastic run out there at Atlanta, really took the fight to Jordan Coons after that final pit stop in that race, finishing 2nd ultimately. Great run for him, one of his best races of most recent history for him. Best finish since Talladega, where he finished 3rd back during Season 5. So hopefully we're seeing that 90 really find his way back to the front, show us that speed we know he has. Other drivers that kind of jump out to me right now, Luke Luffaro. We see him in 9th position on the practice chart with coming up on 30 seconds left in the session. For me, he's been very fast. He got 2 straight top 10s to start this season. And he won a race back last season. He won at Pocono in September of 2021 during Season 5. So he knows how to get around these big old tracks here. So we'll keep our eyes on him to see if that translates to tonight's race, because I really think you'll see those drivers who found success on those 1.5 and bigger tracks last season will rise to the top here. And you may even see some faces that have fallen back over past seasons work their way to the front, notably Malachi Drake. A tremendously impressive run out of him last week at Atlanta. If you want to see some great door-to-door racing there between Jordan Coons, Malachi Drake, and Ryan Berry was also in the mix there as we got a big crash off turn 4. We don't want to see that in the race at all, but those 3 had a great battle throughout the race, ultimately coming down to Malachi Drake and Jordan Coons at the end of that race. If you want to see some great door-to-door racing in these next-gen cars, be sure to check out that replay there. As now we're getting into qualifying and drivers getting ready to hit the exit of pit road here and begin, which should be an exciting qualifying session, and we'll start looking around to see who's going to go and creep out onto the track here. Already taking off, Jordan Coons, your winner back at Atlanta last race, led 63 of the 105 laps on the docket there to get himself his first victory of the season. A great stat for him is he's gone to victory lane at least once since Season 4, so kind of chaining together winning seasons for him. And of course, you know, he was one of our 5 drivers in our Championship 5 as we watch him work his way around this track right next to the wall, that blue paint that's become synonymous with Auto Club Speedway right outside his window as he comes back to the start-finish line. This should be a one and done for these drivers. We'll see him drop down and they'll begin that lap. Let's hop in and ride along with him to see how he's approaching this track. Kind of bringing it way down there to the white line here. It's going to be real intriguing seeing how these drivers tackle this track, and when we get to the setup presented by Jones Racing Setup. We'll talk about, will we see this race tonight on iRacing Simulator emulate that of the race we had here in late February with the Cup cars? So a lot we'll be watching here to see if the sim imitates real life as working through turns 3 and 4. Jordan Coons comes back to the start-finish line and looks to complete his one and only lap here in qualifying. A new format for these drivers to have to adapt to here, and he'll cross the line and you'll start seeing the times flood in here as the drivers finish their laps. So Rizzero, your season 5 pole sitter, he moves up to the first position. Luke Peters now third. Justin Rector back and forth. Kurt Stout in 5th position. As Coons continues to pace around here, we're going to see these times continue to be more fluid here as qualifying continues to move along. 6 times on the board so far. Rizzero, the fastest. And you see no one really able to crack into the 41s. Even Rizzero not able to crack down into that section of the scoring pylon. Josh Kosick still looking to finish his lap here as well. We'll get our eyes on him and see him exiting turns 3 and 4 right now. Let's see what this puts him. Remember, one and done qualifying. You got to make it count when you come across the line. We'll see what he's able to do here. Looking at the scoring pylon, let's see what the survey says here, and no time registered for him there. Maybe a brush of the wall or something there, but no time for him. Still 8 currently scored on the monitor there for us as we watch qualifying continue here. Landon Mills in the 25 coming to the start-finish line. Let's see where this puts him here as time continue to slowly filter in here. Just about halfway through our qualifying session right now. So still working his way around this track. Great paint there out of Landon Mills Designs, one of our presenting sponsors here for the series. Always looking good out on the racetrack. Looking forward to seeing what he does when he comes around this track. We talk about Landon Mills. I get made fun of for it. I talk about it whenever we come to these big tracks, like when we go to Michigan, when we go to Auto Club, its sister track. You got to mention, he got that one win last season back at Michigan International, October 7th in season number 5. And he's always someone you got to watch when you're coming to these tracks. He has got 9 top 5s on tracks a mile or larger in season number 5. So he's part of the conversation here. You got to think about him when you're looking at drivers on track to try and keep an eye on. So right now, we'll see where this puts him. No time on the board for him right now. 9 drivers have qualified so far for tonight's race. We're coming to the end of qualifying here pretty shortly, not too far away from the end of that, as we see Aaron Plemons now moving up to the 3rd position. The time's not able to crack into the 40s this go around. They're just short of cracking into the 40s here. The fastest time, Michael Rizzero, looking to try and make it consecutive poles here at this track going back to last season. So that car already looking very stout here out of Michael Rizzero. Just under a minute left in the qualifying session, and I'm expecting to see more cars make laps out here. Blaze Brinkley just clocking in there. He's going to start around the 8th position right now. Only 12 times so far on the board. About 0.6 of a second difference between 1st and 12th position, Kurt Stout. So there's a lot of things we don't know yet when we're looking at these drivers make their way around this track. We don't know what some of those drivers who've yet to qualify will do here. One of them that jumps out to me is our defending champion from season number 4. Actually, is Cole Williams making an appearance here tonight, expected to start tonight's race. He did really well here. He was your season 4 pole sitter. So this driver knows how to get around here. We're expected to see him work his way to the front. When we've seen Cole Williams run, especially last season, that part-time campaign where he joined us for about a half dozen races, he was able to work his way to the front of the field methodically, taking care of his equipment to get there at the end. It was part of the conversation, getting solid finishes across the course of those few starts he made. But that means the pole award will go to Michael Rizzero. So congratulations to Michael Rizzero, making an impact here in one of his first starts here of season number 6. He'll start on the front row for tonight's race with a great lap there. 41.14 for him will allow him to start in P1, have that first pit stall as well in that 23. Always great having Rizzero part of the race this evening. Wade Poole, he'll start 2nd position. Aaron Plemons in 3rd. Jordan Coons 4th. And Eric Keplinger in 5th. Jacob Hefner back in 6th. Another good run for him. Expect to see him do pretty well here this evening. A veteran of the Redline Racing League. Colton Zimmer back in 7th. Blaze Brinkley 8th. Luke Peters 9th. And Aaron Brown 10th. Justin Rector back in 11th. Kurt Stout 12th. Cole Williams, your defending series champion from season 4, back in 13th position. Landon Mills 14th. Luke Luffaro 15th. Latham Joyner, Cody Webster Josh Kosick, Malachi Drake, Mitch Hobbs, your top 20, Alexander Hayter, Zachary Thornton, Will Cloud, Richard Sprague Jr., Jeff Gross, Anthony Hyatt, and Hunter Terpstra completing the field here, expecting to see over 24 cars start tonight's race. And when we talk about tonight's race, here's that information you're always looking for. What do we expect tonight? There it is. 85 laps on the docket for these drivers on this 2-mile oval. 14 degrees of banking around this track. Should be fun seeing them sweep across the banking here on these opening laps, trying to find the racing groove. 4 sets of tires waiting for them on pit road, and your stage caution, it'll be on lap number 20 this evening. So we've seen drivers be able to sweep stages here. We saw Dylan Alt do it a couple of seasons ago. Now you have the one stage. That's going to be interesting to see what these drivers are able to do when it comes to try and get themselves in position to get those very valuable stage points. You're going to want to grab those, especially early in the season. Rack them up now so you can use them later. So now we're rolling here. We'll go ahead and start talking about something that's going to be very important to these drivers, the keys to the race. That's your setup for tonight, presented by Jones Racing Setup. I alluded to it in the qualifying. Will the sim of this race emulate what we saw here at Auto Club back in February? We saw these drivers really get nice and racy out there. We saw different cars working their way to the front, moving through the field, new faces toward the front. Will we see more of that here? Will we see these drivers use kind of the lessons learned from the real life drivers to have a good run here this evening? More stage and race win sweeps. We've already seen the first 2 races get swept. We've seen the stage winner go on to win the race. Aaron Plemons did it at Daytona, and Jordan Coons did it back at Atlanta last race. Fuel strategy, this could be an interesting one. The race is 5 laps longer than last season's event, so got to have that part of your calculations. And lights, camera, green flag. We only had 1 caution last season. That caution was, of course, for the stage ending. Will we see that here? Will we see it no cautions? Will we see that kind of action? So much to pay attention to. Let's get that green flag first, though. They're coming up to speed here on the front stretch. We're underway here in Hollywood. And already seeing cars sideways there as Plemons gets sideways, hangs on to it. Everyone scatters to try and get around him. Yet again, a rough start, 2 races in a row for Aaron Plemons, who's forced to try and hang on to that car. He will drop back in a hurry here, all the way back to 24th and still falling. It's going to let you enjoy the sights and sounds of Auto Club on that first lap, but already some action there. We stay green, though. And as a result, Michael Rizzero will lead his first lap 0.6 of a second ahead of Wade Poole. Jordan Coons falling in line in the 3rd position. Bit of a traffic jam surrounding that 99, though, as they work down into turn number 1. The 2 working the inside line. That's Jacob Hefner, a familiar face to our Truck Series drivers and fans. He's part of this race here this evening as they're getting a little racy behind him as well. Look at this traffic jam there as Mitch Hobbs has issues. Mitch Hobbs gets in the wall, goes around to 32 as well. On the apron, a lot of damage to his car. First caution of the night, lap number 2, right around turn number 2. Let's see if we can get our eyes on what happened there. You see the Hyatt machine, that 32, a lot of damage to his car. It looks like a loose condition there, just lost control of that car. Got it down to the apron and on the grass, and then we look over. Mitch Hobbs also gets loose, bounces off the wall. Could have been a lot worse for him. It seems like 2 separate incidents there, bringing out the yellow flag tonight. That could have been a lot worse for some of those guys, but we did see Hyatt maybe got a nice hit into that safer barrier. To look at it one more time. So we'll look at it again here, watching the 32. He's really fighting to hang onto that car there. Great shot from this camera angle. Just tries to lock it down and just hits right at the edge of the safer barriers. Maybe would have had a little more room there if he missed the safer barrier to try and lock that thing down, but unfortunately got into the wall there. We jump back to our live pictures here at the Speedway. They're going to try and rejoin the group here. Mitch Hobbs also with damage to his car after getting into the wall off turn number 2. But now leading this race is Michael Rizzero. You see him. He's been able to get out front and lead a bit here. Now we're back behind a pace car for the first time officially tonight. So no long green flag run to start the evening, and we have had our first caution for an incident Here, we didn't have one last season. We only had the stage caution to bring everyone back together. Looking at the field here, some drivers making their way onto pit road. Zachary Thornton, Malachi Drake, Cody Webster, among others, all heading to the pits here for the first time tonight, likely seeing fuel strategy become part of this race. So an early caution here, gifting an opportunity for these drivers to go ahead and head into the pits here to get service, get 4 tires and fuel, most likely, maybe just fuel, honestly, in this situation, unless you're one of those drivers who got some damage back there in that crash. We'll keep our eyes on their exits here and see what it looks like in terms of their pit stop times, as now Cody Webster heads out of the pits. About 4 seconds for him in the pits there, so very short stop to 21 as well. Only about 8 seconds in their stalls, so pretty quick servicing there for those drivers that head back out onto the racing track. Michael Rizzero back with the field here. Great to see Rizzero out front here leading the race. We were one of those drivers we always talked about. He was part of the championship battle in a number of our series here in past seasons, and now he's back there in the 23 in the next-gen car leading this pack around. Wade Poole has also had some flashes of speed over the course of the last 2 races. One of those drivers we've been keeping our eye on to see what they're able to do, and now seeing him slowly work his way into the picture more, and hopefully as we have longer green flag runs, we'll see these drivers climb their way up toward the front and be part of the picture, mixing it up with these drivers who become fixtures of the league like Jordan Coons, Jacob Hefner, Blaze Brinkley, and Aaron Brown. Aaron Brown having a good start so far, already up 4 spots tonight. He's now sitting in the 6th position after starting back in 10th, so that car got a little bit of speed, and to watch that 18, and going back to Atlanta, we saw him have a good run going. He was making some great moves out there, but just had some handling issues coming through the tri-oval and got into the wall. So Aaron Brown looking to rebound from that incident back in Hampton and have a good run here in Fontana. And the Lime is back 18 Toyota there. Starting back in 10th, he's already up to the 6th position. So good run so far for him. I think when we look back at that last race, we'll see drivers really trying to find a way to get on the right track here. There are some drivers in the field who just kind of had some bad luck as a result of the opening 2 races here. Cody Webster, for example, he finished 11th back at Atlanta. Really looking forward to that race. Showed some speed there as well, but a crash around the restart as we were getting ready to get the final stage underway, relegating him to a finish just outside the top 10. Currently sitting 8th in points, only 27 points behind our points leader right now, Aaron Plemons. We talk about Webster, and one, he used to be in the booth with me. He was here for 2 seasons as another commentator, so he's back in the racing seat, beginning to get his legs back as well. We'll see if he can work his way through the field here. He came to pit road with about a few, just under a dozen or so drivers there to get serviced, and we'll see if that differentiating strategy will work for him as we look to get the green flag. Swinging back toward the front of the field, Michael Rizzero will be the driver, bringing them back to the start of our race here. Looking to get the restart on lap number 6. Let's see if Rizzero is able to maintain pace here. We know we saw Aaron Plemons get loose and has strung out the field. Let's see what this restart looks like. Back underway here on lap number 6. Team already moving there. The fanning out is going to get more and more wide there as they work around this track. Team already moving around. Look at Jacob Hefner now making some positions up, and Aaron Brown cutting through the middle. He'll be 3 wide off turn 2 as the 18 looks to try and grab some spots here early. Jordan Coons up to 2nd position, gaining 2 spots so far tonight as they work their way down the backstretch here, watching this battle inside the top 5. 18 continuing to hold it outside, whereas Landon Mills gets a little loose there, still fighting to hang on to that car. He's doing his best he can, and now you see the 1 having issues. Everyone stacking up there, the 1 having some issues. He'll head into the pits here to save that car. His race, still good, fighting to get on the pit road. He'll do just that as everyone was scattering around him. Still leading the race, Rizzero back to the battle we were watching. Aaron Brown able to get to position. He's now back up into 4th spot now as the front begins to thin out here. But look at that traffic jam in that pack there. Landon Mills, a bit of contact last lap through turn 3 and 4. Fought to hang on to that car all the way around the corner, coming back to the start finish line. And now maybe back under threat from the likes of Eric Keplinger and the 05 here on the low side of the track. Landon Mills, as I always mention, already has 1 win in his career here in the league, winning back at Michigan last season, the sister track here to Auto Club. So one of those drivers we'll be watching this evening to see if he's able to grab victory here in California like he did in Brooklyn, Michigan last season. Watch them continue to battle here, coming off the corner, looking a little bit further toward the middle of the field. You see Cody Webster swinging around, trying to find his way around Malachi Drake. These are some drivers who came to pit road during this most recent caution, all trying to find their way back to the front here. Among them as well, Malachi Drake, the highest running of those drivers who came to pit road, sitting in 16th position, didn't qualify for the race here, so he's having to work his way from the back to the front to get back into this race, and now working on the 84 of Alexander Hayter as they go down into turn 1. Malachi has such a great run back at Atlanta, really mixing it up for the race win after the final pit stops, green flag pit stops at that, to create a battle between himself and Jordan Coons. Unfortunately, wasn't able to hang with him, fell back by about 2 seconds, and ultimately finished second there, but continues to work his way to the front here, really holding that white line there through the corner, and now he'll look to try and advance forward on Will Cloud, who was also having a good race back at Atlanta before a big crash would take him out later. So watching this battle here as they work their way through the front stretch. Oh, I love that shot when he just roar by us here. All that speed as they race down into turn number 1, and now the battle continues. This is basically for roughly the 14th position here, and Malachi Drake will grab it. Moving his way through the field as well in this group is our Season 4 champion. No paint on that car, just kind of inconspicuously moving through the field, but we're going to talk about him in a moment as we got a battle for the lead brewing. Jordan Coons, winner back at Atlanta, fighting with pole sitter Michael Rizzero. And don't look now, Aaron Brown with a thing or two to say in this conversation. Lap number 11 got a nice battle for the lead brewing here. Not too far away from the end of the stage as well, and we talked about how important those points are, and for those viewers who have been very astute watching the last 2 races, the end of the stage could be a precursor to who's going to win the race as well, because the last 2 races, the stage winner has gone on to win the whole thing. Jordan Coons out front by just a hair over Michael Rizzero, who now moves up toward the higher line to try and find something there as they work around the corner. Aaron Brown now facing pressure from Wade Poole coming off turn number 4. Look at him dropping down there. That's Blaze Brinkley throwing it down to the apron of Auto Club to get some position. And that's what I was expecting to see here. When we were going to see the drivers carrying momentum from high to low, well, we're seeing it happen now. And we're seeing a battle for the lead resume here as Rizzero holds the low side, surging outside, goes to 99. And Blaze Brinkley now, he's up in the 3rd position. Great racing here so far. Got basically a pack right now of roughly 11 or so cars in this group, all trying to close up on this duo of Michael Rizzero and the 99 of Jordan Coons. You remember back to our Truck Series season many months ago, Michael Rizzero, Jordan Coons, Parker White, that was our big 3 in that series. They would just go out there and rip it up on these tracks. It's great to see 2/3 of that showcase here this evening, and they're all driving away from the pack now. This is 13 cars in this group essentially, and then you're looking at about 3 seconds from the leader till we get to 14th, Malachi Drake. So things getting a little stretched out here as we're running right now. We'll get our eyes back on the leaders, and there's a contact there. Contact. I lost my words because we saw the 18 going around. Caution is out here for the 2nd time tonight. So caution out here. Aaron Brown with a lot of nose damage to the front of that car. The pace car going to have to gather this group back up for the 2nd time this evening. And again, bad luck striking Aaron Brown early in a race. We saw it happen back in Atlanta last week, where he was having a great run. Remember, he was right there in the thick of Jordan Coons, Michael Rizzero, watching it through his windshield, and then, unfortunately, caught up in an incident here. We'll go ahead and get a replay on that and see what happened. So we're watching Aaron Brown here. This is looking off turn 2. Maybe some contact between the 25 and the 18. Everyone doing a good job of dodging out of the way of that. Let's look at that again. That could have been disastrous considering where the 18 in the field was and all that traffic coming in behind him. And we'll look at it one more time from a different angle. Great angle there. You see Him spinning and all those cars dodging out of the way, and the next pack trying to get around him as well. Getting back to live pictures here, Aaron Brown rejoins the field as drivers make their way on the pit road. Michael Rizzero heads to the pits. Jordan Coons stays out. So seeing diverging strategies as the end of the stage approaches. So got our eyes there. Look at that pack. You can see them just distinctly. Those drivers who stayed out, and then you got those drivers who all came to pit road. Very busy on pit road, so really a split field here as we're behind a pace car for the second time this evening. Promising racing from this field here as we were watching them duel for the lead and throughout the top 5, top 10. I really enjoyed that. I hope we see more of that as this race goes on. You see Michael Rizzero, Colton Zimmer, all on pit road here. Kurt Stout, Blaze Brinkley. I count at least a dozen plus cars all making pit stops here. Some of these drivers making a second stop. Remember, a few of these guys came in during the last caution very early in the race to go ahead and get topped off. Let's see what this means for their strategy as well. I think you're going to see drivers really trying to get themselves close to their numbers here, because I really feel like the prospect of a long green flag run is there right now as we watch Landon Mills head out of the pits here and a few others. Stragglers heading out here. You think that's the 32 just leaving. Out front right now, Jordan Coons leading this race. Second race where we're seeing him back out front and part of the picture. And, you know, one thing I kind of want to go over here is just while we're watching here, 2 cautions into our night here, lap number 15, not too far away from the end of the stage. One thing that was very interesting to me was just some of the challenges we've seen these drivers face with these next-gen cars, and I think we saw that really play out back when we ran at Atlanta Motor Speedway last week, and it was really telling just seeing just how many collisions we saw there, drivers losing control of the cars here, and we can tell these cars are a handful. They are not easy to drive around these tracks here, especially the ones where we're still getting the setups just right and fine-tuned with these very, very different machines here. I'm curious to see how much we're going to see these drivers and how aggressive they're going to be in terms of making these passes here. We saw a little bit of contact there between Landon Mills and Aaron Brown. Bring out that yellow flag, sending Aaron Brown around. How is that going to play out here as we get further into this race and the intensity ratchets up that much more? Remember, we're coming to the end of the stage here, not too far away. You see, stage length is 20 laps, so only a handful of laps left before we decide our stage winner. And again, it's been a bellwether for who's going to win this race. We've seen 2 races in a row where the stage winner goes on to win the race. Will that trend continue here? Jordan Coons looking to try and keep it going that way, but he's got some tough, fast competition throughout this field right behind him as we get ready to get back underway. Wade Poole sitting in second as Jordan Coons will bring him back to the green flag here. Jacob Hefner, Latham Joyner, Cole Williams, your top 5. Aaron Plemons in 6th position. Eric Heplinger in 7th, up 11 spots so far. Into 8th is Malachi Drake, Alexander Hayter in 9th, and Luke Luffaro in 10th position. Let's look at your top 10 as we get ready for the restart. This will be a very thrilling finish here to the stage, and curious how quickly can those drivers who just took tires and fuel, how quickly can they move through the field, and will we see them opt to stay out when we get to stage caution? Let's find out here as we get ready for the restart. They get a little bit stacked up there. We're back underway here at Auto Club, lap number 17, and you already see them looking to make moves here as they come toward us in turn number 1. Jordan Coons able to break away by about 3/10 here as the battle for second heats up. Wade Poole, Jacob Hefner engaged with Latham Joyner getting in the picture here. And also, don't look, but you see that white car down the low side of the track. That is your Season 4 champion, Cole Williams. A lot of cars, you see those cars bouncing up and down as they move across the surface here. In F1, I guess they call that porpoising. I don't know what we call it here. We just call that some great racing. These cars are moving around. A handful for these drivers. They'll keep working here and battling for second as we come across for lap number 18. Jordan Coons driving away a little bit as they race hard behind him. Now to 0.4 of a second as the battle for second continues and heats up here as more drivers join the fray. The 42 was just on the low side of the track a moment ago. I know my eyes aren't deceiving me. Now he's gone to the high side in that white car as now we're seeing cars go around. Rizzero, your pole sitter, having issues. He's now on the low side of the track. We stay green here. The 23 having issues. He's back on the track and back running. The lead now 0.3 of a second coming to lap number 19, as we see drivers having issues again with these cars. Train forms to the low side of the track and begins stair-stepping back up high. Wade Poole going to the outside, and that red car there looking to gain some position. The 42, Cole Williams, mixing it up with Aaron Plemons, who had issues in the opening moments of the race. Now working his way back toward the front here, gets a nice bit of a run down the corner, has nowhere to take it, and goes right to the back bumper of the 42 of Cole Williams. Jordan Coons moving around here, trying to break up the air as they come around through turns 3 and 4, looking to take it for lap number 20. That will be the white flag for the stage. These guys are racing real hard here. You'd think it was the white flag for the whole race. The battle for second, intense here. It's a massive crash breaks out behind him, coming to the line. And for 2 of the last 3 weeks, a big crash breaks out right before the end of a stage. That means Jordan Kuntz will be the stage winner here, as many cars get collected in that one. I thought we were going to have a great finish there, a great battle to the end, especially right around second, before that crash broke out and affected a number of drivers, including our second place finisher back at Atlanta, Malachi Drake in the 90. Caution flag out here. We'll go ahead and get a look at what happened there. Let's see if we can see this. So it kind of looks like it's starting a little further back here. You see the 84 right around all that. That's Alexander Hayter. We'll go ahead and rack it back a little bit further than this. And look at him. You're getting real compressed here as we're watching him. We'll just watch this as he comes off the corner. See him all to get sideways there, and just nowhere for the 09 to go and all that as well. Massive impact for him. And then the 14 also gets a piece of it. Aaron Brown gets a piece. Go and watch this again here and just watch it all break out from this camera angle. The C car just pouring into it as well. 14, nowhere for him to go. Aaron Brown, he'll tag that car. My goodness, big crash there right at the coming to the white flag of the stage. We jump back to our live pictures here at the Speedway. Many drivers coming to pit road. I will double check with race control, but that should be Jordan Kuntz, who will be scored as the stage winner for that part of the race. My goodness, what a moment there. Just seeing, it's really scary when you see those cars pouring into that crash there, and there's nothing for them to do. There's really is along for the ride. So confirming with race control here, that should be a Jordan Kuntz stage win, but I'm confirming with race control before I go ahead and throw that information out there, and then I'm wrong and have to retract it, and then I get called out about it. So we'll make sure that that is the case from race control, and that is the case, just confirmed from the tower. So we see again, no real battle for the stage win there, unfortunately, but Jordan Kuntz will get another stage win this season here, and he'll do it at Auto Club Speedway, so congratulations to him. Good run, and now he'll be another stage winner. He won back here at Atlanta last week and now does it again, so he's racking up those points. And if you go back to last season, we had a conversation with Brody Gardner and Blaze Brinkley about the importance of stage points, getting those valuable points as you get ready for the playoffs there. And they talked about how important it was for them to be able to get those because it added some comfort when you get into the playoffs. And now Jordan Kuntz already with 2 of those in hand, 2 in a row as well. So congratulations to him, as now we look toward getting the restart here. And a few drivers stayed out there, mainly drivers I think we saw pit during the last caution, like the 05 and others. So let's get our eyes on them right quick and talk about those drivers like Richard Sprague Jr. He's going to restart in the first position in the 05. He pitted on lap number 14. A number of drivers in this group, last pitted on lap number 14. We'll bring it up on the screen there. You see lap 14 for Zachary Thornton, Cody Webster, and Justin Rector, and Jordan Kuntz, the first of the drivers who came down to pit road this time. So you see him there in the 5th position. We watch that here and look at the game positions there as well for these drivers who came to pit road during the last caution, now looking to profit from that as well. So many storylines here. Already seen the strategy play out here during the race. And we'll go back and look at our setup for tonight, presented by Jones Racing setup, as we look to get the the action is so intense, I'm losing my voice. My goodness, I got many more laps to go. Our setup from Jones Racing Setups, something you will be keeping an eye on, that fuel strategy. Remember, this race is about 5 laps longer than last season's event, so the numbers will be a little bit different Is that going to play a factor in this race if we are to get a green flag run? It's looking less and less likely we're going to get that here as the number of caution continue to add up there, but you have to be ready in case that does happen. We know what happens at Auto Club and its sister track, Michigan. Let's see what plays out here. Let's get ready for this restart, and we always appreciate Jones Racing subs for getting us ready for tonight's race. Getting ready for the green flag here. The 05 gaining 23 spots so far tonight will bring them back to racing action. The green flag is out and we're back underway. Already seeing him race hard here. Down to the inside goes Cody Webster as they jockey for a position here. Couldn't quite get there. Now he'll have to fight back from Zachary Thornton on the outside in the 12 as they head down the backstretch here as the field really thinned out there. A lot of those drivers who were involved in earlier incidents kind of just all falling back from this pack as they head off into turn number 3. The 05 holding his own there, and the 91 now looking to grab the spot away, and he'll fight coming to the start-finish line for the first position. Down to the low side, moving around, trying to side draft a little bit as well across the line for 24. Still leading this race is the 05. This group already out to about a 1.8 second lead over the 11th place, Michael Rizzero. Remember, he had some issues earlier in the race, some damage on that car as well. Back at the front here, still battle for the lead, continuing as Aaron Plemons, like he has some issues there off the track, back on the racing surface. Back watching the race for the lead, the 91 on the low side of the track with the 12 watching through his windshield, trying to figure out what his strategy will be to try and get himself some laps led here. The 34 right in the thick of things as well. Eric Keplinger sitting inside the top 5. That's where he started the night in 5th. And now he'll look to try and grab a position or 2. As the 12 goes to the inside, they'll be 3 wide through turns 1 and 2. Great 3 wide battle. They'll be 3 wide for 2 rows, it looks like, coming off the corner. And they continue to fight down the backstretch here. Jordan Coons gets in line close to the wall and now is down to 2 wide heading into turn number 3. Down the low side goes Webster in the Packers colors. He'll roll through turns 3 and 4 and look to try and close up the door on the outside, and he will close the door and maintain a lead coming to the start-finish line as the 05 and another car catch the wall. Lead change out front as Cody Webster now grabs position, but Zachary Thornton wants to get mixed up in that as well. Down to the inside goes the 12. They'll fight for the position here, and now look like a bit of an issue there for the 12. He'll fall back in the field a hefty amount, and now they'll be 3 wide as maybe a handling issue snuck up on that 12. He'll have to now go into triage mode and fight to keep that car straight. Cole Williams right behind them with Will Cloud. The front 4 are now single file working through turns 3 and 4. Webster out front leading this race, but Eric Keplinger gets a nice run there coming off turn 4. Where will he take it now? And he'll look to the low side, continuing to inch down lower toward the white line. They'll jockey for the position going down into turn 1. Another lead change here on the underway as we work through turns 1 and 2. Up the track into the middle lane, closing the door for Webster to mount an attack. It'll now be single file down the backstretch until Webster decides what he wants to do. Does he want to try and make a counterattack? And he will, and the battle will resume going into turn 3. Back out front leading the race is a 91 over the 34. Jordan Coons now back in the picture as well, sitting in a 3rd position, up 1 spot on the night. If you look back in the field here, see car off the track there. Not sure who that could be, but we'll go ahead and see if we can investigate and figure out who that is as we continue to watch the battle for the lead there. The 34 down on the low side of the track. Webster trying to fight back on the high side. Very common to see Webster running that high side of the track. He really likes to run the upper lanes when he can. The car allows for that kind of line to be run, and it's serving to be a defensive line for him as he tries to fight off the challenge from the 34 of Eric Keplinger. Jordan Coons watching all this through his windshield, figuring out what his strategy will be. We'll see if he decides to go high or stay low. He'll fall in line behind Webster for now as Cole Williams now joins the picture here. Cole Williams, your season 4 champion. Great respected driver here in the league, now rejoining us here for a part-time race. Always good to see the 42 on track. And now he'll face a battle from Zachary Thornton. This is a fight for 4th position. We're still watching the fight here. Down the backstretch, down into turn number 3. Michael Rizzero's back in the picture here. He went for a bit of a ride during the stage, and now he's back in the thick of this. Michael Rizzero back in the middle of all this as Cole Williams falls back to 7th. So now single file here toward the front. No one fighting to try and get to Webster just yet. Keplinger will go down to the low side of the track. They'll be side by side here working their way around this facility. That's about for second position. You even got the 12 right in the middle of all of that as well. You look at this battle here. This is a battle for the lead. Essentially, all these guys right up on top of each other inside the top 6, 7 right now as they run. Luke Peters at 198 top speed. They're going into the corner. Look at that. They're flying around this speedway here right now. Dropping down to the low side of the track goes to 91, playing defense here as best he can, trying to protect his line here. And now Jordan Coons waiting, feigning the move, and now he'll go to the low side, and we'll see a battle for the lead resume as the 91 launches back to the point here. Up the track goes that Mustang right into the front of the 91, and now you see the 34 now trying to get up there. A lot of Fords joining the battle up here, a number of them in this pack, and one lone Chevrolet. That's Will Cloud in the 48, surrounded by a herd of blue ovals. Still watching these drivers battle here for second position. Eric Keplinger right there in the middle of it as well. As this unfolds here, looking further back, you see another pack forming. It's a very small pack. You got a 67 of Aaron Plemons, Justin Rector just outside the top 10 and 11th, and Jacob Hefner in this group. They're about 3.1 behind Cody Webster, and then you go back another about 1.5 to get to this Wade Pool machine. So the field getting really strung out here as they run. And you start getting back into cars that have some damage there, like Aaron Brown. See him with a lot of damage to his car, and unfortunately Malachi Drake with a lot of damage to his car after having such a good run last week back at Atlanta. Back at the front, the battle for the lead really heating up here, getting spicy as they're 3 wide. Great dogfight for this position here as they work their way around the track, and now you see the 34 leading this race here. A number of lead changes in this race, and that's what you want to see. This is why we want green flag racing. This is why we want big lobbies. We want to see great on-track action. We're getting it right now here in Hollywood. You see cloud cover enveloping the track right now. Let's pull up that weather information for you as we watch this track begin to change here. Temperature down to about 88 degrees on that track. So that's going to play a factor into how this car handles. And we see the cars moving around there. Down to the inside goes Jordan Kuntz. Air temperature right around 65, but that track is still steamy, but not as hot as it was during practice. They were in the upper 90s in practice, so we're nearly 10 degrees lower than it was in the practice session, certainly maybe helping and even hindering some drivers here as this run goes on. And the cloud cover doesn't hurt either. The battle for the lead continues as Eric Keplinger runs the outside line, drops down into the middle in front of Webster, and almost looked like he was going to go down lower to get in front of Coons, but he'll hold the middle line as they race for second position, 3 wide off the corner. Luke Peters running up there near the wall, looking to try and work his way to the front. Up 6 spots tonight. You got a nice little pack for me. This is 8 cars under a blanket. Great dogfights here through the field as we are not too far away from halfway in our night here at Auto Club Speedway. And as this long run goes on, you're certain that these drivers are thinking about the prospect of green flag pit stops. As this field gets more strung out, I think you're going to see that idea enter their head, and then that means you have to deliver, and it is not just about the pit stop time when you're in your box stationary. It's about entry, it's about travel time down the lane, and of course it's about the exits and rejoin of the track. So we're watching that closely here, and we see the 12 go around. 12 around hard into the wall, putting us under caution here for the 4th time tonight, and go ahead and throw out, at least for now, that long green flag run. That was a violent turn there out of the 12 straight into the wall. Caution out here for the 4th time this evening on lap number 36. And we'll see if we can take a look and see what happened there. Let's get a look from the blimp cam and just get an aerial view of this. We see the 42 right up there next to the wall, and Maybe the 12 didn't realize how close they were to each other, and those kind of things happen. We'll look at that again here from our camera right off turn number 4. Spinning down the track there. Good job locking it down and keep it out of the path of the other drivers. Getting back to live pictures here at the track. He'll rejoin the field here, looking back at the leaders. And let's see who decides to come to pit road here this time. Looks like most of the field will go ahead and make another pit stop here on lap number 36. A fine time to come in and get some servicing here. We see the Malachi Drake machine staying out. He is lapped down here after being involved in the earlier crash. The 34, we're leading them in with Jordan Coons right on his back bumper there. We'll see what kind of servicing these drivers get. Remember, they're kind of limited on the number of tire sets they have. They only get 4 sets of tires for the night, so you can't just run through them before we even get to halfway. We'll see how judicious these drivers are when it comes to preserving their tires. So Jordan Coons in his stall right now getting service. We'll watch the time here, expecting that to probably be 4 tires and fuel. But man, that was a crazy crash there. Just a 42 on the outside, right next to the wall. Just maybe just misjudged the distance between those two cars, and they collided. And that's what happens there as we watch the drivers off pit road. Luke Peters first off pit road. Fast time for him. So now most of the drivers heading back off of the pit lane here. Luke Peters with a fast stop for the 50. He'll take advantage. While we have a minute, we'll go ahead and talk about the standings as they come into tonight's race. I wish we could do as they run standings, but Michael's not that tech savvy yet. But entering tonight's race, Aaron Plemons remains the points leader entering tonight. So he had a rough night back at Atlanta. Just started on the pole, wasn't able to really lead a lap even during the course of that race. Fell back outside the top 10, and then was involved in some incidents there to finish in 10th position, 52 laps down. Still got the top 10 though, which helps him preserve the points lead over Luke Luffaro. Joshua Coloni there in the 3rd position. Zachary Thornton and Malachi Drake, your top 5 after our run back at Atlanta. And as I've kept alluding to, let's take a look at the results from the last race as well. The Peachtree State 162, Jordan Coons going to victory lane there. Malachi Drake finishing just 2 seconds behind the eventual winner of that race. And Justin Rector back in 3rd. Ryan Berry was right there in the thick of it as well. Part-time driver here in the series. Really fought hard with Jordan Coons. Got loose off turn 2. Nearly lost control of the car. Fell back about 4 seconds. And then had an issue getting on the pit road during the final green flag stop. And lost a lot of time there, which ultimately put him 1 lap down. But still a great run out of him nonetheless, aside from that one incident. And then Colton Lights finishing 5th, 13 laps down. Getting ready for the restart here. You wouldn't have known it, but he's back up front now, toward the front at least. Michael Rizzero will look to restart in the 2nd position. Luke Peters taking the outside line for this upcoming restart, up 8 spots tonight. Jordan Kuntz, Eric Keplinger, and Wade Poole, your top 5. Cody Webster in 6th. Blaze Brinkley, Aaron Plemons, Jeff Gross, and Anthony Hyatt, your top 10. We've seen some great side-by-side racing during the course of this run here. We're not too far away from halfway in the race, and I think as the field begins to thin out more, you may see us look toward the opportunity to get that long run in. I don't know what that means for fuel. As they keep having these cautions, it does bring them back closer to a situation where fuel won't be a concern. We'll see how it plays out here as the pace car gets ready to make its way back into the pits. The field passing by us here at the entrance to pit road as we look to get back underway. Good restart there for Luke Peters as we're back under green flag condition on lap number 39. The leader, yet again, using leader's choice there to get the run they need out front comfortably here. But the battle for second underway between 3 drivers. Got the 23 of Michael Rizzero, Jordan Kuntz, and Eric Keplinger all racing hard around each other. Now they're single file all the way back to about the 11th position, going down into turn number 3 as Wade Poole looks down to the low side of the track. That's a battle for the 4th spot with Rizzero and then Cody Webster on the outside in the 91. Still trying to find that first top 5 this season. He finished well, but looks like we may have another caution coming out here. There it is, 5th caution of the night. A few drivers have some issues further back. So fifth caution of the evening here on lap number 40 as drivers bail to pit road to try and avoid the crash. So we'll go ahead and take a look and see if we can figure out what happened there to put us back behind the pace car again so quickly after we were just back underway. So see the 32 here right next to the wall coming off the corner. It seems like the incident's already breaking out ahead of them. So we'll get our eyes on a few other drivers there. It'll probably take us a moment to look back at this incident. Let's go ahead and just do a manual re-rack of the footage with the production team and just take another look at that here and look at Aaron Plemons just having some challenges here. Just a second race in a row where he's just had just unfortunate situations happen to him. And I'm not sure if that was a failure of his wheel or something, but that was a violent turn in that car and it just broke out a huge crash off the corner. So we'll go ahead and look at that again. It's a hard impact there, and we'll look at this coming off the corner. See, 3 nearly getting into the barrier there. May have touched the barrier there a little bit. A number of cars caught up in that one. Looking at it from above, the 3 gets knocked down into pit road. The 12 gets doored in that situation. The 32 trying to come to a stop to avoid all that. Coming back to live pictures here, drivers on pit road. A number of drivers making pit stops there. Michael Rizzero heading in out of the pits along with Luke Luffaro, Blaze Brinkley, Jacob Hefner, and others who made stops here. Looking at the times, very short stops as well. Not very long. They were on pit road anywhere from 4 to 10 seconds. Well, we were doing well when it came to the yellow flags there, and unfortunately we're seeing those crop up here a little more during the course of our race, and we're seeing more drivers get damaged and incident points from this. But we'll go and talk about something we haven't had a chance to talk about in the last couple weeks here. It's about drivers who finished clean. Jordan Coons is one of those drivers who had a great race back at Atlanta Motor Speedway, winning the race, but he also did it without getting a single incident during the course of the evening, and that will allow him to be part of our Clean Race Award for our night back at Atlanta Motor Speedway. What's unfortunate is no one else to join him there on that platform, and the way this race is going, they may be alone again if we have some finishers there. And you see the number of incidents, 113 incidents among 20 drivers in that race. A very, not a stat you want to see if you're a team owner trying to get points during the course of the season. And speaking of points, so something a little fun we'll be doing here is tracking those clean race finishers and how well they're doing through the season. So we'll look at our standings here in that Clean Race Award presented by Circle B Diecast. Jordan Coons gets 4 points for being the top finisher with no incidents. And of course, 4 drivers will be part of that group, and each one will get 3, 2, and 1 points respectively. And as the season goes on, we'll see who's able to finish at the top of the standings in terms of being a clean race finisher. And that's always presented by, this season, Circle B Diecast. Use promo code SOUP at checkout for free shipping on orders $20 or more. And I'm sure you guys want to get some of those next-gen diecasts. So be sure to head over to CircleBDiecast.com, and we appreciate their support of the broadcast and the Redline Racing Cory Harts Media Premiere Series as we look to get the green flag here. Justin Rector looks like he'll be the control car for the upcoming restart. Wade Poole, Luke Peters, Jordan Coons, and Eric Kepling are the top 5. Rizzero, Luffaro, Webster, Brinkley, Hefner, the top 10. Interesting seeing the 11 and the 2 next to each other. They are the duo that makes up Brinkley Hefner Racing. So seeing the co-owners right on the same road with each other back on road number 5 for his restart. We'll watch this restart here. We've seen the drivers who've been the control car be able to kind of get out front and just pull away from the commotion behind them. We'll see if that trend continues here as we get this restart. Getting ready for the green flag on lap number 43. Good jump there for the 83. He'll cruise away, and we're back underway. So yet again, repeat of history, to 83 able to get out front here and lead some laps as the battle for second gets underway with a number of cars all on top of each other trying to get the advantage here. The front 2 pitted on lap number 36, so they did not come to pit road in the most recent caution, and the cars behind them did come in to get some fuel. Side by side here, 91 sliding up the track. It'll get a little bit tighter there coming through the corner. 3 wide, maybe even 4 wide almost. Coming off turn number 4 to 50 thinks better of it. And things begin to consolidate as they work through the oval, the curved section of the track here down into turn number 1. I almost said that was a triangle. That is not correct. It's a D-shaped oval. Continue to watch these guys race here back a little further. The 11 working his way to the front here. The 91 sliding up the track again will open the door for the 23 to get a run to his inside. Sliding in that lane, getting right in front of Cole Williams. Nearly some contact. There may have been a slight bump there. Was 42 into the back of the 91. Still watching these drivers work their way through the field. Luffaro now trying to get in position here, trying to get back into the top 10. He is inside the top 10 now in 9th, following behind Cole Williams. He's gotten 2 straight top 10s to start this season, and you know what's interesting? He did get that win last season on a big track. He won back at Pocono last season, so he knows how to win on these big old tracks, and he's doing well here tonight. Back at the front, watching the battle for the lead begin to take shape here as Wade Poole, Eric Keplinger, Jordan Coons, and others look to try and get involved here. Falling back in the field, Justin Rector now back to the 4th position, now 5th as Blaze Brinkley gets a nice run on the high side of the track to make the pass there, and Webster and Rizzero will look to pounce as well. Justin Rector falling back a little bit in the field here, up 4 spots so far tonight, but losing position steadily here as he falls back. Remember, he was one of those drivers who pitted on lap number 36. The rest of the drivers who just passed him pitted on lap 40. But what's interesting here is, again, we didn't see most of those drivers take tires in their last stop, so it could be some differentiating strategy there, or just a miss of the mark coming off the corner. But he may be under pressure from Cole Williams soon enough going down to turn number 3. Cody Webster just ahead of them, working on Michael Rizzero, sticking to that low side there as he loses the nose, slides up the track, nearly gets into the 23 off the corner. They'll be single file coming back to the line here as Wade Poole continues to lead this field around. Jordan Coons sitting in 2nd with Eric Keplinger and Blaze Brinkley. Single file train beginning to form as they work their way around this big old track. Balfour's 3rd position now getting double file first as we look for some spiciness there as the 11 gets sideways, hangs on to it, takes it down to the apron to keep everyone safe and keep his race alive, but he'll fall back considerably here, trying to get back in line, and now he'll have to fight with Luffaro. This is right around the 10th position. A good save there by the 11 to keep his race going. Back at the front, we're watching Wade Poole continue to maintain pace out front of Jordan Coons down to the low side. That's the 34 of Eric Keplinger. See Aaron Brown right at the tail end of that group there. Aaron Brown has had a rough night here at Auto Club, but he's fighting to keep going here, running into 14th position. It kind of goes back to Atlanta where we saw him have such a strong car, almost mixing it up for the lead there at times before being caught up in a crash and we're having a single car incident going through the trial with his lost the handling and got into the wall, which pretty much did in his night there. And we saw what happened to him earlier in the evening here with handling and front end damage to that car, but he's fighting to keep the car strong as he works his way through the field. Now in a fight with the 12 and the 48 down the front stretch. Bringing back around, looking at Rizzero leading this race here as Cody Webster, Jordan Coons, and Wade Poole go 3 wide coming off turn number 2. We're seeing these drivers not afraid to go 3 wide, even 4 wide here. Let's look at this as they pass by us on the backstretch. They're getting real racy here for position. 3 wide again going down into turn number 3. This will allow Jordan Coons to break free of this group. The 91 and 34 remain side by side here. Great fighting for position as the 11 has more handling issues, fights to hang onto that car. He'll lose a bit of time there to the cars ahead of him, but keeping his race alive. We're seeing as these cars run longer, the handling issues begin to creep up and become more frequent. Back at the front, the 23 is still leading this field around with the 99 just behind him, the 83 also in this picture as well. Wade Poole was up there at Daytona as well. We saw him really part of the picture before many people got struck by bad luck during the course of that race, but now having a good run here so far, coming to lap number 51. Jordan Coons now back out front leading this field around. The battle for second and third right now behind him in his windshield. I guess you'd call it the his rear-facing camera, actually, next gen cars. In any case, the 99 running the middle line here, keeping the 23 at bay, the 91 going to the low side of the track. They see a battle for the lead brew yet again. And there, nearly some contact there. I think there may have been a bit of contact as the 99 plays defense going down into the corner. Great side-by-side racing through the field here. Continuing to watch this battle for position here as they settle in. This group is about looking like 4 seconds ahead of 12th place Zachary Thornton. So we'll look back at that gap here. You see him diving down to this corner. And there's Zachary Thornton, Aaron Brown, and Will Cloud all with each other. So this is a tight group here, and they've lost a lot of time to the leaders. Continuing to be 3 wide here. They are not afraid to take these cars 3 wide around this track. Going to our blimp cam here. Look at it from above. 2 wide now, down into turn number 3. Webster sails it in deep into the corner. He'll slide up the track here as we drop back down to surface level. Watch these cars race off. Webster will lead the field around yet again. Narrowly, actually, to the line. Jordan Coons will lead that lap. These guys are putting on a great show for us here in these next-gen cars. This is what we were hoping to see. A lot of battles for position, with lead changes, and jockeying and fighting, but they're keeping it clean out there for the most part. This is the kind of show we want to give you here on the channel every week, and these drivers are delivering here tonight. Jordan Coons back out front, leading this race, and Cody Webster trying to figure out what he wants to do. And look at the 11 getting back in the picture here. He was just off having a bit of an adventure on the low side of the track, hanging on that car for dear life. Now he's back on the podium. The 11 is part of this fight again, trying to keep that car straight. And look at him, he's right in the thick of things as cloud cover begins to envelop the front stretch again. That may affect how these cars handle. 3 wide, right in the middle of the field here, even a hint of 4 wide at times. Great views here at Auto Club Speedway as these drivers put on a fantastic show. This pack really strung out here a little further back as the 91 cuts to the inside, trying to fight to get to the low side on Jordan Coons. Great door-to-door battle here. These drivers putting on a fantastic show for us. Watch this. Oh yeah, you love to see him sail by there. The battle for the lead continues here. Playing defense again is the 99 of Jordan Coons. It looks like he's racing at a restrictor plate, the way he's trying to cover all the lanes of this big track. Love watching this kind of racing here. 55 laps into our night at Auto Club, and you know, Jordan Coons, he won a stage earlier, and so far this season we've seen the stage winner going to win the race, but he's got a heck of a lot of competition behind him. Side by side through the field, getting real tight there as well. Look at them racing real hard around Wade Poole, the 2, as well as Jacob Hefner, the 11. All those guys putting on a lot of pressure there, but beginning to gap the field just a little bit. About a tenth and a half is Jordan Coons, but he gets reeled back in on the approach to 1. Great battle for the lead here. This is a race for the lead. That's what we're going to call this here. These guys are all fighting for the lead. We'll bring up some of that information for you to show you that pace there. Seeing some drivers hit 201 miles an hour in these cars. And look at the field here. Last time they were on pit road, most of the field, lap 40. Wade Poole, lap number 36. Come across the line here again. This battle for position is so close. Putting on a great show here. The great dogfight for this race win. 199 for Blaze Brinkley right now in 5th position. Great fight for the lead here. We'll go ahead and compare the leader here as well as the 91 makes a move out there, hangs on to it. We'll take a look at Jordan Coons in a moment and compare the lap time to himself and the second place runner, either Eric Hepling or Michael Rizzero. It's going to be a fight for that position coming out turn number 4, but we'll track whoever is in that spot right now as we come into lap number 58. A great night of racing here, and it's only going to get better here as they run side by side down into turn number 1. This is the fight for second, Rizzero and Keplinger. So right now we'll do a comparison here, looking at Jordan Coons, our race leader right now, and then compared it to Michael Rizzero. There's a lap time differential. A little bit of speed there for Rizzero back on lap 54 and 55. And then we see Keplinger getting the position back. They're kind of mirroring their lap times here as they race off into turn number 3. Be a fluid situation for that second position throughout the race. You see him getting a little bit wobbly there. They hang on to it. I don't know how that wasn't a crash, but they somehow keep it together. And we stay green here, but that's going to allow Jordan Coons to get a bit of a gap there and stretch it out a little bit. So now back to a tenth and a half now, up to 2/10 coming off turn number 2. Wow, that could have been disastrous for those drivers, but somehow they kept it straight there, and the race continues under green. But everyone who's in this pack is still part of it. 11 cars essentially within 2 seconds of race leader Jordan Coons. Still watching this battle here. As I mentioned, the last car in this group is that number 28, Justin Rector. He's right there at the edge of the group and trying to hang on to him. You see a bit of damage there on that car, and he's falling back just a bit from the car ahead of him, about 7/10 behind Luffaro. That's 10th position. A bit of a mix-up there caused the field to get a little bit stretched out here and reduce some of that side-by-side racing. We'll see if it begins to get back underway here as they continue to run under green. That car on the inside, that's Malachi Drake, involved in an earlier crash. Unfortunate for him, but having such a good run back at Atlanta. Down to the inside goes the 34 of Eric Keplinger, side-by-side here. This is a fight for the lead with Cody Webster right there in the catbird seat. He's going to look to the inside here and make the diving move onto the paint of Auto Club. 25 laps to go, and we still don't know who's going to win this thing. Cody Webster back out to the lead. He'll rise with the track there, trying to play defense, but the 34 goes even higher, trying to bring that momentum to the outside. And around he goes. Gets turned there by the 34. And he'll hit that inside wall. No caution here, so that is unfortunate for him, racing for the lead and gets turned by the 34 in that battle. He'll rejoin the track, and we'll get our eyes back on the battle for the lead as Jacob Hefner looks to the inside of Jordan Coons. Side-by-side for the third position as well, and also further back a little more side-by-side racing as the pressure cooker begins to get even more intense. Hefner now out front here. Wade Poole on the low side. Jordan Coons and that orange car on the outside. They will trade the lead back and forth down the span of the backstretch, passing us into 3. Fighting to get down to the low side is Wade Poole. He's going to try and bring the fight to them using the lower lane, and they'll be 3 wide coming off the corner. Hard racing here. Jordan Coons down to the low side, and car in the air. The 11 around, the 20 involved, the 34 as well. Caution is out here with 23 to go. I think we saw that coming. That crash was coming for a while now. We expected to see it, and there it is. We saw the earlier incident with Cody Webster, and now we're under the caution flag here. We'll go ahead and take a look at this incident and just be able to replay it from here. You see the 11 up in the air. I haven't seen a crash like that since supercars. So let's go ahead and watch that here as it unfolds. It is came down the track into each other, the 11 up into the air, and just nowhere for those cars to go. The 20 involved Luke Luffaro, your Pocono winner last season. We'll look at that again. Those cars kind of just got locked onto each other as that crash broke out. And then we're going to go further back here and look at the incident just before this crash involving race leader at the time, Cody Webster. You see there to fight for the position, and around goes 91 into the wall head on. He locked it down, but that was a hit to that car. You see there just trying to play defense. Down he goes, and around he goes into that wall. Back to live pictures here to 34, back with the group. In the 99, looking to maybe head to pit road here. 22 laps to go, be 21 when they cross the line next time. The race is getting real interesting here as we count down toward the end of tonight's events. Drivers getting racy here for the lead and related positions, and we're seeing the incidents break out more frequently as drivers make their way into the pits. So pit road's gonna be a busy place here right now, and I'm intrigued to see what this race is going to hold for us as this run goes on here. See all those drivers already out of the event as well. So a number of cars already out, about 7 so far tonight out of the race. Important pit stops here, about looking like 18 cars left on the lead lap here as we now get ready for these final pit stops. These drivers making their way into the stall and expecting these to be 4 tires, fuel, normal service for these guys. Last time most of them were in was lap number 40. So we'll see if Jordan Coons has a better pit stop here. We know he had some issues last time, lost out to Will Cloud in the last of the pit stops there, and Cole Williams will be off pit road first, with Jordan Coons following close in tail, Wade Poole, Jacob Hefner, and Justin Rector at the top 5. Some damage there on the 42 car, like not slowing him down too much here. He's driving the wheels off it and was able to get back out front here using pit road to his advantage. Looking at pit stop times, generally 14 seconds to 15 seconds for these drivers. The fastest among the group, Jordan Coons with a 14:45, but a faster traversal of pit road goes to Cole Williams, a 47:72 total time in the pits compared to a 49:26 from Jordan Coons. We finished those pit stops there. Let's go ahead and talk about the upcoming schedule here. We'll go ahead and go to the full screen model so you can see the whole thing big on the screen for you. Jordan Coons, of course, winning back at Atlanta Motor Speedway last race. Congratulations to him. You see what's on the docket for us next few weeks. The Jones Racing Setups 158 back at Chicagoland Speedway. That's going to be a fun night of racing. I love Chicagoland Speedway. I wish we still raced there in real life, but unfortunately times change. And further down, you see where we're running at in real life. Down there in Austin, we'll be running there in about 2 or so weeks, running at Circuit of the Americas. Then you have Dover International Speedway, 2 weeks at Bristol, starting off with Bristol Dirt, and then the Bristol Motor Speedway asphalt configuration, and then our all-star race at Nashville Super Speedway. And if we remember how our last race at Nashville Super Speedway went, this being an exhibition, money on the line, as they say, bragging rights, oh, it's going to be real spicy there when we run there. Great race, and it was drama-filled last season. It was points paying. Let's see what the All-Star race has for us further into the season, further down the schedule. You see Las Vegas, Darlington, and Homestead all on the docket here. And then we start thinking about the playoffs after that All-Star race. So let's get through tonight first. We got 20 laps to go on the docket here. Coming to 19 once they take the start-finish line next time. Cole Williams up front with Jordan Coons on the outside, Wade Poole, Jacob Hefner, and Justin Rector, the top 5. Zachary Thornton, Michael Rizzero, Will Cloud, Hunter Terpster, and Luke Peters, the top 10. Cody Webster involved in a crash just before that yellow flag. He will rejoin the field 16th. And the 11 out of the race here after being involved in that crash, and a number of others trying to rejoin the field here with damage. You see him there. 20, a lot of damage to his car. Pace car making its way in, getting ready for the green flag to restart for our evening here at Auto Club. You hear them roaring back to life. We're back underway here. 19 laps to go here at Auto Club Speedway, and this race is undecided. As usual, the leader gets a nice bit of a run off of the corner down into turn number 2, and he'll be able to drive away a bit, but we'll see if these drivers behind him begin to reel him in. The 99, where he has been a lot this evening inside the top 5, fighting to keep second place, and he will, with Wade Poole following in tow in third. Thought about going low, changed his mind, goes high, and will try and figure out what line works for him as he tries to size up the 42 of Cole Williams. Side-by-side battle behind them, maybe 3 wide here in a bit as Michael Rizzero lunges down to the low side of the track. This is a fight for 5th place. Luke Peters in that car holding the position on the high side. Lead change as well as the 42 falls back here for a moment, but he'll surge back on the outside, bringing a fight back to Jordan Coons down the backstretch here at Auto Club. Good driving here by all these guys toward the front. 18 to go. Will be 17 next time by. And Cole Williams playing defense here, trying to keep the 99 and the 83 at bay here. The two around the back bumper of Jordan Coons. These drivers all know each other real well. A lot of veterans here in this race, but also some of our new faces getting racy as well, like Wade Poole right there in the thick of things. Continuing to watch this battle for the third position. Jordan Coons now down to the low side, trying to fight there, catches the apron. May cost him a little bit of momentum there. He will hang on to it as the two gets sideways and loses it. He'll get into the wall down the track. I think that's Jacob Hefner saying that's the evening for him as he catches the wall there and drops through the field, looking back at the battle for the lead as it cools down a bit, back to single file racing. Cole Williams leading this whole thing around about 1/10 ahead of Wade Poole. And then Jordan Coons, Luke Peters, Michael Rizzero to top 5. Look at the speeds here. They work their way down into turn number 1. About a $196 for a lot of these drivers heading down that corner. And they trade positions here, coming off of turn number 2, rising to the high sides. 42 gets loose, and he'll collect a bunch of cars. The leaders wreck. Leaders wreck coming off the corner. Caution is out here as the leaders collide, and that is going to totally transform this race. Inside the car with Cole Williams, who lost control of that car, and it started off big chain reaction. The 25 smoking there. We're going to have to re-rack that footage because a lot of things happened there. So let's go ahead and get our replay going. So this is a little right before it started to happen here. So we'll watch it. I saw the 42 beginning to get loose there, and I'm sure you saw it too. Get sideways coming off that corner. It's been a tricky spot for these drivers. Get sideways and just loses it. And we've seen crashes happen like this before. Just look at that. Cars coming back up the track. Drivers who thought they were safe. Not anymore as more cars wreck. And we'll go ahead and just start it from here. Wade Poole was having a great run. He was involved. So we'll start in here looking from the gyro, from the blimp cam as well. The 50, also a lot of damage to his car. Oh, look at that again. Kind of focused on that 50 car there as this wreck breaks out. So unfortunately, seeing a lot of cars end up with a lot of damage there. The 25 gets smashed. More smashed up there for his car. Back to live pictures here. That wreck just really transforms this race. I feel like we were having such a great race there and a great fight for the lead, and unfortunately that wreck happening right in front of the race leader. So let's go ahead and set things up here, and then we're going to look at that crash again, and just in case you missed it, we'll walk through it one more time. So some drivers heading into the pits here. Rizzero in the pits. Jordan Coons, Eric Keplinger, Cody Webster back on pit road here. Wade Poole in the pits. We saw the damage he had on his car. Cole Williams, Luke Luffaro, Will Cloud all in the pits here after that incident. So that sets us up for the field we have out front right now, which is Zachary Thornton leading this race, Justin Rector, Latham Joyner, who's found success at this track before, Aaron Brown back up to the 4th position, and Hunter Terpstra completing the top 5. Anthony Hyatt scored in the 6th position, and Cody Webster in 7th. So now that we have that all discussed, we want to look at that crash again, because again, it happened right in the middle of the field here. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at this from the perspective of Cole Williams. So you see this here. They're working their way out the corner. Everything's fine here, and then just that bit of a bobble there just loses the handling of that car. We'll hop in here, and we can't quite see his hands there, but we'll hop back out. You see him fighting to keep that car, and this is something we've seen happen even in real life, where the car just snaps another way. Kind of the same thing happened to Aaron Brown when he lost control of his car at Atlanta last week. The car just kind of snaps in another direction and carries you toward the wall, and that just kind of creates the situation we saw here, and a lot of damage to a lot of cars here, a lot of good cars, including Jordan Coons, who won last race and was really speedy inside the top 5, top 7 all race. Will Cloud smashed up and all that. 23 fighting to drive around it. My goodness, what a crash there. Now we go back to live pictures here, and man alive, what can you say about what happened there? That's just one of those things where you don't like to see a crash like that break out during the course of an evening, and right at the front too, eliminating a lot of leaders. But what this has done, it has introduced an opportunity for some of these drivers toward the front here to be able to mix it up and maybe get themselves a good finish here. 13 to go. We're getting the restart this time by, so it'll be 12 to go once they get that restart. You have some drivers up here who haven't been at the front much this evening. We've seen Justin Rector float around up here off and on. Zachary Thornton has been up here once he's worked his way through the field. Zachary Thornton has gained 20 spots tonight in the race, and now he's looking to be part of this conversation at the end. So that's going to be very interesting to track here. How well will that 12 be able to run here, maintain this position? And Latham Joyner as well. We talked about, again, we'll show you there, Zachary Thornton has gained 20 positions so far tonight. Also, Latham Joyner, he's right in the thick of things as well. He's part of this conversation, up 13 spots tonight. Can he get up here and maybe get himself a W? There's so many interesting storylines developing. Aaron Brown up in fourth as well. We're back green. This race keeps getting more and more interesting, and unfortunately, more cars keep dropping out. Zachary Thornton gets a nice run there, but Aaron Brown, he's moving toward the front here, surging on the outside, powering to second position in a matter of 2 turns. Good momentum for him, and now he's going to look to try and maybe make a move there on the 12. He thinks of it for a moment, and then gets back in line. Also coming his way back through the field is a 23 of Michael Rizzero as well. Down to the low side of the track goes the 18, trying to stay in line with the 12. 11 laps to go here at Auto Club. 3 wide back there within the top 6 right now. Rizzero running the low side of the track, and the field really thinning out here. And around goes the 3 of Latham Joyner. Caution back out here. Unfortunately, the end of this race turning into a wreck fest here. Not what you want to see after having such a promising and exciting race here. Don't want to have this turn into a wreck fest. 8th caution of the night here at Auto Club Speedway. So we'll take a look and see what happened there to put us back under the yellow flag again. So watch here coming through turns 1 and 2. Just got turned there by another driver. We'll loop back again. Yep, just got loose there again. Similar spot to the 42 where he got loose earlier in that run that caused the incident right at the front of the field. Happening again, but this time to Latham Joyner. Collected in that again is the 42 to 32, slamming on brakes there to avoid it. The 99 veering to try and avoid that as well. So 10 laps to go here at Auto Club Speedway, and more cars continue to drop off here as they continue to be involved in incidents. We had about 7 cars out about a dozen or so laps ago. The number now coming up to 10 cars out of the race here. That's something I was noticing back when I was looking at the data and doing some research for our night here. Some drivers make their way on the pit road here. We'll see if these are just repair pit stops or this could be strategy as well. A number of these cars have already gotten damaged in prior incidents, so we'll see what this means for them as this race goes on. Zachary Thornton is the race leader. As of now, Aaron Brown scored in second. Something that jumped out to me was just the struggles these drivers were having when it comes to getting used to these cars on these speedways. Just the incidents that are breaking out, a lot of handling issues. These cars are hard to drive, and that seems to be even affecting them here on the simulator as well. When we look at the first 2 races this season, we've seen the number of incidents kind of go down, but the number of drivers running at the end of the races has also kind of gone down as well, which is not something you want to really see. With only 7 cars running back at the end of Atlanta, that's compared to 18 out of 29 running at Phoenix last season. That time, that was our second race back in season number 5. So seeing the handling creep up on these cars and present challenges to them, and it's not necessarily you're fighting with the drivers on track and trying to battle for position. You're fighting the demons and the gremlins in that car as well. So these drivers, hopefully over the course of the season, will become more seasoned to these cars and be able to put together a race that they'll be proud of at the end of it, because these cars are not easy to drive, and it's for putting them in situations where they may not even expect the cars to be breaking loose like that, because turn 2 is such an opportunistic time to be able to try and get some momentum in the car to attack down a backstretch. And that's twice now we've seen drivers lose control of their cars on the exit of the corner. So Jordan Coons still in the pits here, along with Will Cloud, Luke Peters, Landon Mills in the pits as well. You see it down there on the bottom of your screen as they come around for 8 laps to go. Pace car lights are out, so we should be getting the 1-to-go signal this time. Zachary Thornton will be the race leader. Aaron Brown, who showed some speed during that last short run, up in the 2nd position. Michael Rizzero, he's back up to the 3rd position with Justin Rector. Remember, Michael Rizzero started on the front row for this evening's race, so he's going to try and get himself back up there and mix it up before this night is over. Eric Keplinger sitting there in the 5th position. Cole Williams, Luke Luffaro, Anthony Hyatt, Cody Webster, and Hunter Terps to the top 10. Anthony Hyatt up 18 spots so far tonight, riding along with him during this caution period. We'll see if he can hang on to that momentum and be able to maybe get himself onto the top 5 and get on the podium and talk to us, which you always know. We talk to our top 5 drivers after every race, and we'll be hearing from them once we know who they are after 7 more laps. So hopefully this will be an exciting finish to the end. I'm beginning to think this will not be our last caution of the night here as well. After such a clean race here in the Xfinity car, the B car as it's known here on the service last season. A little more racy here, a lot more action, but also seeing a lot more yellows as well. Pace car makes its way into the pits as we look to get the restart here, coming to 7 laps to go. Green flag back out. We're back underway here, and we'll see how well Zachary Thornton can get away from the rest of the field. He'll race hard for that 3rd position behind him. Aaron Brown looking to get to work here. He moved that field really well on that last restart there. He'll try and do it again and keep that momentum going, but he's got a whole rear view camera, we'll say, of Michael Rizzero, and now down to his inside goes to 23 of Michael Rizzero. These 2 league veterans here, they've raced with each other in countless events, know each other very well. Side by side battle for the 2nd position continues, coming off of turn number 4. The 18 will stop the track, opening the door and allowing the 23 to go up into the position unchallenged, and he's not done yet. Rizzero to the lead with 6 laps to go. Side by side for 2nd position as we see the 12 side by side fighting with the 18 coming off the corner. The 42 getting in the mix of this as well, trying to roll his way back up into this picture here after we saw the incident that happened at the front of the field earlier. Aaron Brown was sliding the line behind Cole Williams as Cody Webster drops down to the inside of the track, and maybe even a brief hint of 3 wide there. The 18 maybe being a little generous in that move as the 91 slides up the track. He'll fall in line right in front of him. The 18 will figure out where he wants to go next. He'll follow him down low as we're now at 5 laps to go. Michael Rizzero, your pole sitter, back out front here. 0.2 of a second ahead as the 91 has issues going through the corner. And still fighting to hang on to that car. Everyone trying to dodge around him here. Turns 1 and 2 is seeming to be the Achilles heel for a number of drivers here, and losing momentum goes the 91. He falls back to 7th position. Latham Joyner, he tried to throw the block, not able to do it. Joyner goes to the inside. So Webster falling back from battle for the lead to battling to stay inside the top 10. He'll catch the wall there off the corner. Back at the front, Michael Rizzero out to a half-second lead over Cole Williams. Aaron Brown fighting for 3rd with that 12 car. They're getting real racy here, getting door to door as the 34 looks to capitalize and try and pick them both off. going through turns 1 and 2, he'll at least get side by side with the 18 of Aaron Brown and try and close the gap on the 12 there as Cody Webster tries to get back into fray here and slide up to the inside. Well, a couple of cars ahead of him, that's Anthony Hyatt in the middle of that group and Latham Joyner. Things cooling down up here toward the front. Michael Rizzero has one of the largest leads we've seen so far tonight, 0.6 of a second over the 42 of Cole Williams. And what's so notable about these two here is they fought very hard for the championship a couple of seasons ago. Eventually, we saw Cole Williams be crowned the champion in season number 4, but these two went neck and neck to the end to fight for that title, and we're seeing that play out here in the end of this race. 0.6 of a second between these two, and you see the telltale sign trying to break the draft, keep that opponent behind you as they head off into turn number 3. This is going to be a great fight here to the end. 2 laps to go here at Auto Club. Michael Rizzero back out front, holding the lead at just over 0.5 of a second. Zachary Thornton now up into the 3rd position as Aaron Brown falls back in the field now into the 7th position. Cody Webster now back into 5th and still has work to do to hold off Eric Hepliner. Still watching this battle here. You see the battle for the lead in the same frame as well. That's still 0.5 second between them going down to the corner, but Williams is closing in. Doing a lap time comparison here. There's the information, just a hair faster is Williams. We'll watch that again as we come to the white flag here. They will receive it. 1 to go here at Auto Club. My goodness, this could be a thrilling finish here. Closing up the gap is the 42 of Cole Williams running the high side of the track. Lap time history, just over roughly 1.6 seconds faster was Cole Williams there. They're going to take it way down to the white line and break him up there. Now 0.4 of a second, now 5 separating Rizzero from Williams. Through turns 3 and 4 one last time, running a part-time campaign. One of the winningest drivers here in the league. He knows how to get the job done, and he does just that here tonight. Michael Rizzero wins at Auto Club Speedway. Cole Williams finishes back into 2nd position. Zachary Thornton finishes 3rd. Cody Webster and Latham Joyner, your top 5. So congratulations to Michael Rizzero getting the job done here. Your season 4 pole sitter finishing in 2nd position. That's Cole Williams. So 2 drivers who both won poles in the last 2 seasons at this racetrack, finishing 1-2 here tonight. What a good race there and a good battle to the end this week. It's unfortunate to see so many cars crash out at the end there. They fought so hard for every position out there on the track, and we'll go ahead and get ready for what should be a fun set of driver interviews here. And of course, we'll be hearing from the likes of Latham Joyner, Cody Webster, Zachary Thornton, Cole Williams, and Michael Rizzero, and he's celebrating now on the front stretch as he should. He's not going to be able to save that motor for our next race at the big track in Michigan. That thing's going to be blowing up the way he is burning it down here. It's been a while since we've seen that 23 go to victory lane, and he's making sure he makes his presence known. As we transition to our post-race coverage, we'll start talking to these drivers and hearing from them about what was an interesting evening here at Auto Club Speedway. The first driver we'll bring in is the driver who finished 5th back at this track. It's Latham Joyner in that Chevrolet, the only Chevrolet to finish inside the top 5. Driver to 3, do you got us?
Yes, sir, I do.
So talk to us about your night out there. How was Auto Club treating you? You gained 11 spots on the evening and got yourself a top 5 for it. Talk about your night here at the track.
Yeah, I hit the wall during qualifying, and that was only like my 3rd lap on the racetrack, and then just tried to ride it, and I was doing pretty good until Plemons self-spun, and some guy bounced off him and got me. And then I ended up in the pit barrels and had to tow, and I had like 2 minutes of damage or something. So I had to drive with that. It was down RPM, everything else. And then I self-spun with, like 10 to go or whatever, and had to drive from 13th back up to 5th. It was I didn't like it very much because it was real momentum based and just weird to me, but it is what it is.
So I was going to ask you, what was the car like for you out there? We know it's a next gen car. It's got a lot of unknowns. What was it like? If you could describe how the car drove for those who have never been on this track with this car, how's it feel?
Like a pile of nails or
Watch it.
something.
Okay.
Like you're just driving a pizza box or something. It's really weird. Like push it up the racetrack, and then if you're like going fast while getting tight, it'll just snap loose and just like lose it. And it's impossible almost to save these cars.
I was going to say that it seemed like there was a problem area right there on the exit of turn two. What were you seeing and feeling in your car around that area?
Yeah, just like if you were actually going through the corner like you're supposed to at a quick speed, it would just snap loose. Did it in practice, it didn't qualify for some people, and then did it in the race multiple times. That's why you saw them big wrecks off of two.
Gotcha. Well, we know you know how to run here. We were one of the drivers we were watching this evening. So congratulations on getting yourself a top five. Anyone you want to shout out or mention as you hop back into the booth with us here this evening?
Yeah, I just want to thank Splash and Go Graphics for my graphics, JH Graphical Designs for all the stuff he does, the BHRs as a whole for talking to me throughout the race, and then Elite Cuts and Excalibur Racing Engines.
Awesome. Always good hearing from you, Latham, and congratulations on the top five finish and being the lone Chevy representative here in that group.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, we'll keep moving through our interviews here. The next driver we'll be bringing in is the driver of the 91 Ford, Cody Webster, who had an eventful night at this track, and now he can say he's gotten a top five here. We were talking about that coming into the race, when he's going to break through and get that top five. Got the 11th place back at Atlanta, but was showing speed there. Now he finished in fourth position with his Ford. Cody Webster, do you got us?
Yes, I do.
So talk to us about your night out there. We saw you had some issues early in the race, but you were able to rebound from that. How did your race go, and what happened at an incident, and how were you able to drive back through it?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we had our early caution. I kind of played my own strategy, staying in the back, not grabbing any stage points, which, with how the past few weeks have gone, I want to learn to keep my car clean. So that's the safest route, even if I have to, sacrifice points. But then we got that green flag run. I think because the field got spread out or whatever, but we had the 8 of us or 9 of us up front. Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, it was just so intense. I mean, it probably look intense on the stream, but it was intense behind the wheel, just trying to hold onto the car, cover the blocks, find a lane, try to get the run, side draft really hard. And that one incident with myself and Keplinger, it just I pulled a bad block. He felt bad about it, but it was none of his doing. I just trying to hold him off, and then got the damage repaired. Uh, Slapped the wall, got that damage repaired, and I had a fast enough car probably to keep up with Rizzero, and then made a mistake with like 4 to go and got really loose. Had to regroup myself and come from seventh to fourth, and almost got third there. I mean, it definitely a great race, eventful to say the least, but great race, and had a lot of fun out there.
So how's it feel to finally break through to get that top five? Do you think you'll be able to keep this momentum going and chain it together? We're going to Chicagoland Speedway next week. A bit of an unknown there with these cars. Can you keep this momentum going?
I'd like to say so. Chicagoland has been my favorite track, preferably with the ARCA cars, not really any other car. I mean, I'm good there, but it's been one of my favorite tracks on the circuit. Obviously, I got to stay out of trouble, so with these cars, we see more packed up than ever, unlike last season with the Xfinity cars. So when a wreck does happen, we see it. It's just nowhere for anybody to go. So it's really just keeping your nose clean until the end of the race and making the right moves, whether it be pitch strategy or just getting in the right lane like tonight. So I look forward to going to it and definitely think I have a good shot at that track.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to seeing what you do there. Anyone you want to shout out or mention as you enjoy a top five finish, your first one this season?
Yeah, I'd like to thank the driver for keeping it all together, getting a top five. I like to thank you, Mike, for broadcasting. Great graphics, everything you do. JRS, um, Proximity Racing, Cory Harts, Ryan Kendrick, um, Aaron Brown, Jordan Coons, all the guys over there who helped me really get settled in. All the sponsors over there. I think that's it. And I want to thank the fans for coming out tonight. It looks pretty packed out there, so thank those guys. And yeah, that's it.
All right, we'll see what you do when we head to Joliet and Chicagoland Speedway next week, but congratulations on finishing fourth here tonight.
Thank you.
All right, we'll keep moving through our interviews here. The next driver we'll bring in is our driver who finished in the third position, gaining nearly 20 spots on the track. There's driver the 12, Zachary Thornton. A good run for him and his Ford. Joins us on the podium here this evening. Zachary Thornton, do you got us?
Yep.
Talk to us about your night out there. It was a pretty interesting one. You gained the most positions of anyone, really. How'd you do it, and how'd you stay out of trouble?
Well, to start off in practice, I just have monitors issues and I couldn't get my 3 monitors to work, so I completely missed the whole practice. So I kind of just had to go like into qualifying, do like maybe I don't even really think I got a whole lap in, but then I just went the race and just tried to figure it out through the whole race, and eventually at the end I managed to figure it out and secure a top three.
How did the car drive for you out there? Excuse me. Considering you had to make your way through the field, how did the car drive when you had to negotiate your way through all that traffic?
It was definitely a handful of times. It sometimes just completely snapped loose. I mean, it was for sure difficult to correct. I mean, had a few issues with had a few contact. Well, had a few issues with contact while trying to make my way up there, but I made it through eventually, and it definitely took a while though, because it was pretty hard to get up there.
We've seen you have some good runs here so far this season. We're going to Chicagoland next week. What are you expecting to happen there? Do you think you can keep this chain of pretty good finishes and runs going into Joliet?
Well, I hope I can keep a good finish, keep a good finish streak. I mean, that'd always be nice, but never know what happens. So I could always get a wreck and just DNF and ruin it, but I hope not. I hope top three would be perfect. Like I couldn't ask much more than that.
Yeah, it seems like just out of nowhere, these crashes can break out and really just have to figure out where to go in moments there. Talk about trying to snake your way through some of those crashes that we saw break out here as well.
Yeah, especially one I off to later in the race. I followed Mike Rizzero through, and it was very, very scary. There is a lot of close calls in that race, and I got in a few incidents, but none of them were too severe. And I think the most amount of optional I had at one point was just a minute, so I managed to survive somewhat, but definitely not without any issues.
Well, hey, you survived. You got yourself on a step of the podium, and now we turn our attention to Joliet. So before we let you go, is there anyone you want to shout or mention as you enjoy a top three finish here at Auto Club?
Well, I'd like to thank you for broadcasting and thank all the admins for doing the great work.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it and look forward to seeing what you do when we head to Illinois next week.
Thank you.
All right, we'll keep moving through our interviews here. The next driver we'll bring in is a familiar face to those who've been watching the broadcast for a pretty long period of time. It's our season 4 champion, Cole Williams, joining us here, finishing second in his Ford this evening, gaining 11 spots on the track. Cole Williams, do you got us?
Yes, sir.
Talk about your night out here. It's a very interesting evening out on the track. Talk to us about kind of the night overall, some of the highs and lows of it, and then kind of talk through what happened there right at the end of the race and how you were able to rebound from that.
Yeah, man, I was kind of struggling. I needed just some green runs. I was just back in the main track. The draft is so huge on this cars. I would describe it to a viewer like you're driving with a big spoiler and 700 horsepower. I mean, there's not that much dirty air, but there's also just so much of a hole being pushed into the air that like this car just sucks up super fast. It gets lined up on the top. It's very momentum based at Auto Club, and I was just driving as hard as I could. Once I had the tires, and after about I think it was like 20 to go, the yellow come out, and I was like, that killed me because I was running the top. I just flew by, I think 5 cars on the outside. I was like, all right, here we go. It's go time. I saved my right front for like 12 laps, just back there trying to get my left front out in the clean air because that's all that matters with saving your tires in this car. So, um, yeah, I went out there and had my tires perfect, and then came out right as I was probably about to size Jordan up for the lead, and then I was just being a I don't know. I was just a bozo and wrecked off of two. You have to drive this car out of your mirror when you're the leader because you can't let anyone get to your outside. And I saw Wade get a big run on the outside. I was kind of surprised that he got it. And I was just mirror driving off the corner and accidentally I never thought about my throttle or anything. I thought it would be secure as a leader because it was really tight overall in practice and stuff. And I just wrecked everyone. So I'm sorry for getting into Jordan in a way that really messed them up. I think Luke got caught up in that too, so that sucks. I didn't want to wreck anyone, especially people that are running this a lot. But also they got a lot of races to make them up too. So I just sorry to them. So that was kind of a dumb yellow on me. But thankfully it didn't kill my car. I mean I lost like 10 RPM. That's probably why I couldn't suck up to so I could suck up to was it Michael at the end there, and he got the win. So that was a good win for him. But just got beat up a lot this race and was able to come up second. Super fun, it was a super fun race overall. Auto Club, obviously, I love this track. This is my home. I'm born like less than a mile away from this place, and I wanted to bring home the win because I love this place. But it's all good. I mean, it was really fun. I kind of sucked. I wrecked the field there in the yellow, but I drove super hard once I mounted those tires on with like 10 to go. I just didn't have any help. So being down 10 RPM, aero damage, he was aero damage too. But the RPM is what held me back from the win. But it was super fun. So that's all you can take away from it.
Yeah, always good watching you run here. You were the season 4 poles there at this track, so we know you know a thing or two about running at Auto Club, and always good hearing your insights and how you approach these races and how your experiences. And good seeing you here in the booth for a little bit. But before we let you go, anyone you want to shout out or mention as you make a good run here in one of your part-time races?
Yeah, man. Just thanks to everyone back. I was gonna say Nebula Esports, but that's kind of dead now. So thanks to everyone that was there. I was just chilling with all my friends in Discord throughout that race. Shout out to Landon. Hey, I know you got caught out to 7 earlys, but you had a decent race going up until that point. Thanks to you and Cody for broadcast, putting on the league course. All these seasons. And basically, almost probably coming up on like a year, maybe a year and a half since I've been in this league and running. So we've been racing for a long time here. So just once again, thanks to you for all you do for the Redline Race League and the community. Once again, sorry to Jordan Wade for taking them out of the race. Shout out to my dad. I don't know if he's watching or not. I just picked up my driver's license today, and I went out there and ran second in the sim. So thanks for him for I guess paying all the fees and stuff because I can actually drive in the real world kind of and actually get around. So thanks shout out to my dad and thanks again to all you guys.
Awesome. Well, always good talking to you. Hopefully, we'll get to talk to you again soon. You ran well when you ran at Chicagoland last season, so maybe we'll see you next week at Joliet. But if not, always good having you here, and congratulations on the great run here at Auto Club.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
All right, and that means we'll be bringing in our race winner, who is back in victory lane for the first time in a while. Always good having him here in the booth. It's the 23, Michael Rizzero, your race winner here at Auto Club. Good run for him, starting on the pole there and bringing together 2 straight pole awards at this track over the last 2 seasons, and now got the win to bank with it. Michael Rizzero, do you got us?
I got you.
Talk to us about your race there. How does it feel to get back to victory lane?
Oh, it just feels so good. I mean, like we started on pole. I mean, the racing was just flat out amazing. Like that was the most fun I've ever had on iRacing, like ever, like hands down. And we definitely got in more than one wrecks for sure. I think every car had damage basically, but we fought back to the front and then eventually took the lead and got the win. And I don't think I wasn't really saving that much, so I was probably just sweating so hard. I thought Cole was gonna catch me. I mean, he gained like almost a tenth on me, so I was just so like nervous on getting this first ever win in the Premier Series. But overall, that was just an amazing race. Like I had so much fun.
Yeah, we've seen you run really well here at Auto Club. Like I said, you started on the pole here last season and had a good run, and we've seen you do well on the trucks and on these big tracks here. So we know you're kind of running a part-time campaign. Kind of what are your goals? And if you look at the schedule, we've got some good tracks coming up like Chicagoland, we got Bristol, we got Dover, and of course, some of the bigger tracks like Michigan later in the season. What are your goals to try and hit? Are you trying to come back for some road courses, some ovals? What's on your agenda?
Yeah, you'll probably see me here like every other week because I'm obviously doing Road to Pro, and yeah, I'm obviously gonna be racing part time. So yeah, you'll definitely see me every other week.
So talk to us about Road to Pro. How's that going for you? We know that's we're kind of getting into the deep part of the season for that. How's it going, and what are you hoping to accomplish there?
It's definitely not going how I expected. I mean, we've had just like not good runs like at all. I mean, based on bad luck, we just got to get the queue down. I mean, we have like, I mean, the guys like Jerry just have so like really good race pace. Like they have big, really good Archim setups, Archim for like the racing. But it's just queue we need to get better at, and I think we'll really be there. I mean, we just had like not bad luck recently at Atlanta. We got involved in like some checkup that occurred. I mean, we were just about to start moving up to the front, and then Las Vegas, we just didn't have a really good queue set up. But we'll definitely get better here at Richmond.
Well, we'll keep our eyes on you and wish you the best as you continue to work the road to pro. And always good to see you back in victory lane here. A good indication of how good the league is going. We see Michael Rizzero out there fighting for the lead and for the win. Talk us through those final 3 laps there. Those few laps where we saw you and Cole Williams fighting for that final lap there. We see you guys race each other before. You raced for a championship back in season 4. Talk us through that battle at the end.
Yeah, I mean, it's just amazing how this little rivalry has aged well. Like we've raced like so hard over like the past year, and it's been so much fun with battling him like every week. And yeah, I was just sweating so hard in my like mind. I was really sweating, like literally. I was definitely.
I think we lost you there for a moment. Oh, there he is. Let's see if we can get him back in here and keep going. I think we lost you there for a second. We got you?
I'm really sorry. I accidentally just joined another VC.
All good, all good. Happens to the best of us.
But yeah, back to what I said. Yeah, I was just panicking over his last few. That's probably why he gained a 10th on me. But I mean, it's just been amazing racing with him over the last year. But it's been so much fun.
Well, we always love watching a great show here. You gave us that here at Auto Club Speedway. And, you know, I always say we look forward to seeing you in Joliet, but we look forward to seeing you when you return to us for another race. And before we let you go, you know how this goes. Anyone you want to shout out or mention as you enjoy this win?
Yes. I just want to thank you for broadcasting. I mean, in my opinion, you've done really good for this league, and I think it's why this league is alive today because that's a really good broadcast. And thanks to Cody for letting me back in and running part time this season. And just thank everyone for watching, especially my family members. And like it's been amazing. Like this is awesome.
Well, you did a good job burning it down and parking it in Gatorade Victory Lane, so congratulations, and look forward to seeing what you do when we join us again for another race on your part-time schedule, and again, wish you the best as you fight through Road to Pro.
Yeah, thanks, man.
All right. So with that, we'll go ahead and kind of wrap things up here. You see him parked there in Victory Lane. Always good to have Michael Rizzero in the booth. You can hear the energy and excitement he has for running well here on the service, one of our veterans on the in our leagues here. He was a competitor in the Truck Series and a competitor here in the Premier Series as well. So congratulations to him. Has been really putting together great runs. And he talked about the rivalry kind of between himself and Cole Williams. They always find each other and they always put on a great show. And if you go back and look at season 4, some incredible racing there. So with that, we'll go ahead and wrap up things here and call it an evening here at the track. And as you see there on the right side of the screen, heading to Chicagoland Speedway, the Jones Racing Seps 158 on the docket for these drivers here next week. I love Chicagoland Speedway, a great track here, especially on the service. I'm looking to see how these drivers are going to approach this race in terms of multi-groove racing. We're going to see that come back here in these cars, and maybe we'll see these races maybe get a little more calmer as well, where we see fewer yellows, which may open the door for long green flag runs. So many questions. We don't have those answers yet. We'll have them hopefully next week, and then my favorite, road course racing on the docket in Austin, Texas. The Circuit of the Americas playing host to the Redline Racing Austin Grand Prix here in 2 weeks' time. To get ready for that, go ahead and watch the racing down there in Texas this weekend at COTA. It's going to be a fun day of racing on the channel and a fun weekend of racing this weekend here in real life. But with that, thanks for watching. Thanks for suffering. We had a couple of technical issues there here with the old control panel here, but hopefully I have those worked out for our night back at Joliet. I always want to put on a perfect show, and a couple of things were off there, so I apologize about that, but look forward to seeing you guys next week when we head to Joliet and Chicagoland Speedway. Congratulations again, Michael Rizzero, your winner here at Auto Club Speedway.